So we've marked out here where 4 holes are going to go for a bridge plate, and we've actually just consulted the manual on how to do it, and it's absolute gibberish about where it goes or how it's supposed to be properly screwed in or whether to drill holes or not or anything. So if you were relying on this to tell you how to do it, it won't. And the position of the bridge is really critical to make sure the guitar plays in tune, as we said when we were showing it earlier, to make sure the scale length is okay. And there's no information about that or where it should go or any left or right movement or anything like that. So as I already said about these instructions, they're pretty rubbish. So we're just kind of going by what we know and just from experience about where it should go. And if there is an issue, you know, I'd be able to solve it, you know, moving it back or refilling the holes and re-drilling and all that. But if this was your first kit, it probably wouldn't be, you know, something you'd be able to remedy if it wasn't right. So we're going to drill our holes, put our bridge plate in, and then see if everything works out. So that's our 4 holes drilled out, and we're just putting in the bridge plate now, and we're looking okay. I'm just going to start to hand turn in the screws. Again, as I said earlier when we were going through this kit, none of these screws are labelled or bagged properly, so it's only guesswork that these are the correct screws. It's only because we don't have any screws left we know these are the ones for it. So it could have been a lot better packaged. And as I explained already when we were looking at the so-called instructions, there's nothing telling you how to do this. It doesn't tell you to drill the holes, it doesn't say how far you go down, it doesn't say what size the screws are or anything like that. So not great in terms of trying to show you how to do this, you know, especially if you're an amateur and this was your first kit or something. So here's our screws gone in now, so we'll just attach our second part of the bridge and we'll just get to see how things all line up then. So this is just to quickly show you we have the bridge plate in, and just remember that this screw is only in place because we added extra wood there for it. Otherwise there was literally nothing for it to bite into, it would have just been spinning around. So that's another thing to remember about these kits, there is things like that. So we'll press on and see how we get on. Okay, so I've literally spent just about the last 20 minutes trying to get this top part back onto the bridge. It was an absolute nightmare trying to keep the spring underneath in one place and stop it falling down, trying to keep it level to get into the back part of the bridge here, trying to get this screwed in as well. It's an absolute nightmare to try and get it in. I don't know if you can make out what's going on in there, the screw right down the center, but it was just an absolute nightmare. You can see down the bottom here along there how all the wood is now bruised and damaged there from what's happened. So we will have to do something with that. We'll probably shave it down or round it over or something like that to try and conceal it. But that was an absolute nightmare to put in. I'll be leaving it in place while we're testing that everything lines up on that. So when we take it back out, we should only have to put it back in again when the guitar is finished. And I'm not looking forward to that because I don't want to damage the paintwork or do anything like that around the edges after it's been painted and lacquered and that. So we'll take this, we'll leave it in place, and we'll try and get our neck in place and string it up just to see can we get it functioning, and hopefully we can, and then we'll begin our, if everything is working, we'll resolve any issues that there might be. We'll come back and do some more of our woodwork. We've the forearm contour that we originally had on this side here, we're going to copy over here, as well as the belly carve on the back. So we'll come back to all that again after we just do our test to make sure we can get the guitar functioning. So we're just using the plastic back plate off a neck plate to give us the spacing for our holes. As we said, we're not going to use the black neck plate that came with this. We're going to use neck bolts and recess them into the body. It's just something that I prefer. So we've got our holes marked, so we're going to drill those through now, and then drill our slight countersink that we use to recess the bolts in. So just to show you, this is what we mean. We've got our neck bolts, and we have these small ferrules that will sit inside the hole, and then our screw will go in through them, and that'll hold the neck in place. So as I said, we're going to drill those 4 holes now, do our recesses, and get ready to attach the neck. you can see with those holes countersunk, where you can just pop in our ferrules and then they'll be able to hold the screws in place once we go through. And now we can use these holes when we attach the neck to mark where we're going to drill on our neck. So we're just popping in our neck here, and as I said when we were first looking at the kit, this is quite a tight neck joint, which is good. So that's well seated there. And now, as we said, with these holes here, we can just use those as a guide as to where we're going to mark our holes on the back of the neck. So just do that, we take off our neck. They might be a little hard to make out, but we've got our 4 marks now where our bolts are going to go, so we can use that as a guide now and we can drill those holes. So just as we were shown before, and we can now put our ferrules back in, and we can start to thread our bolts through. And once they start to appear from the other side, we'll just get ready to attach the neck then. And so we're just reaching through into the neck pocket until we can start to feel the tips of these starting to come through. We're just all doing this by hand, so we don't want to do anything too quick or sudden just yet. So we put our neck back in again, and as I said, with the tightness of this neck pocket that we've gotten, there isn't going to be a huge amount of adjustment left and right. So what we'll have to do is, if there is any kind of string alignment issue, later on we'll take the neck back off and we'll shave down one of the sides and try and see can we get a bit of a twist on it if we need to. But as we've seen how amazingly high quality this kit is, I'm sure absolutely everything is going to line up precisely first time without any issues whatsoever. I'm not saying that happening, but we'll keep on going anyway and see what we do end up with. So we're just tightening these by hand, and you can see everything is going straight in because we used the original holes that we cut on the back of the body to line up the neck. And the only issue is, this, as I said before, this wood is so soft that we don't want to put in screws too hard or try and force them in too much, because it will literally just strip the wood, and we'll end up having to, you know, re-plug holes and go through all that nonsense again. But these are all seem to go in okay. We did all our measurements, and as I said before in numerous videos, I believe that using these ferrules looks a lot better than using a big bulky neck plate, especially the chrome ones. I think they look horrible. So just like this is nice, and they're not exactly flush, but it's just a lot better looking than that big chunky plate, especially the chrome ones, as I said, and with that plastic behind it. So that's our neck in place. It's absolutely rock solid. So we'll just give you a better view of this. So that's the instrument together for the first time. So you can just make that out there. So that's kind of how we're going to end up with. So the next item on the agenda that we're going to be taking care of is we're going to string it up. We'll put our bridge back in. We took it out, it was just too awkward when we were trying to do the drilling. And we'll string it up and, as I said, see can we get it playing. See does it work acoustically, and if it does, then we can strip everything down and start our finishing process and get all that started.